WC27 Friday Night Overtime. Sponsored by Tallahassee Board of Realtors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Overtime. It's the final week of the regular season. Can you believe it? Across the Big Bend and South Georgia alike. So sadly, it's the last time we will talk about some of these teams. I'm Sports Director Alison Posey. He is Dom Tibbetts. What is that?
That's the Bernie, throwing it back to like 2014.
I'm way out of touch. We're saying goodbye to some teams. We're hopefully going to be talking about some others for a very long time.
Absolutely. Madison County, a perennial power in Class 1A. They've punched their ticket to the postseason, and in 6A, Rickards on the bubble. They could be in, they could miss out.
A win tonight over the Cowboys, and they are most definitely in. A big-time game against two big-time programs. It's our Friday Night Overtime game of the week. Second quarter in this one, we're jumping right in. Raiders up 6-0 over the Cowboys. Madison driving, Jamie Hampton on the keeper, and he's dangerous, folks. Boys moving inside the 10.
Then less than a minute until the half, Madison County turning to the air, but Lionel Whitaker having other ideas all over this pass, and the Raiders keep the Cowboys off the scoreboard at half. It's 6-0.
Jumping to the fourth quarter now. Cowboys up 14-13, looking to add a little more cushion to that score. Hampton keeping it, and I told you guys he was dangerous. Picking up about 25 yards here, moving it well against this Raider defense.
All right, Madison County trying to punch it in, going for it on fourth down. Myron Ward saying not today.
Not today. So the Cowboys up by one. Raiders getting one last shot here. And how's this for clutch? Michael Townsend, Rico Watkins, 50 yards. What a play.
But that's the highlight of that final drive. Going for it on fourth down, Cowboys almost coming up with the INT.
So
and they would kneel it out from there. Cowboys win 14-13. Rickards now has to wait until Sunday to see if they make the playoffs.
Sweating bullets. Now sticking with 1A teams, both Sneads and Liberty County are in Region 2 playing tonight, and if things stay the same, they'll face each other that first week of the postseason too. Liberty, they strike first. Ryland Roddenberry in for 6. Extra point is good. It's 7-0. Here come the Pirates though. Tyrell McMillan powers his way through this Liberty County defense.
Big boy.
Setting up the touchdown, and McMillan, he's just going to finish the job. Why not? And we are tied. They lead 9-7 at the break, and Sneads holds on for the win, 17-7 over Liberty for the Sunshine State Athletic Conference's Crossroads Cup.
In Mayo, Lafayette hosting Freeport. The Hornets in for Region 3. Their opponent on the bubble in Region 1. Second quarter, Freeport needs some offense. Conditions tonight not in their favor. It's a fumble recovered by the Hornets, and they would go to work from there. Inside the 10-yard line, Mario Thomas calls his own number, and he's in for 6. 2-point conversion successful, so it's 22-6 Lafayette. Hornets with another shot here late in the first half, but Thomas's pass is just going to slip out of his hands. Look at the conditions outside. Picked off by KK Henderson, but Lafayette 44-13 winners over Freeport. With that win, they'll now host their first-round matchup in the playoffs.
Hamilton County currently on the outside looking in Region 2 at Trenton, who is barely in Region 3. And after a turnover on downs, senior quarterback Tyler Perry, love the name, takes the opening play for the Tigers to the house, 60-yard scamper. But the next drive, Hamilton's wideout Chase Cherry goes wildcat on the Tigers, and after the 2-point conversion, the Trojans are on top by a point. But this was a ground and pound game in the cold and the rain. Look at me rhyming. Only 3 passes in the first half.
MC Posey.
Fullback Tavin Brown punches it in from the goal line. Tigers back on top and pulling away. Final score of the half, Keon Williams takes the sweep and seeing nothing but green grass in front of him, folks. Tigers up 28-16 at the half. Trenton wins big, 48-22 over Hamilton County.
The Brookwood Warriors three-peated as region champs from 1974 to 1976. They haven't won multiple titles in a row since, and that could change tonight with a win over Southland Academy. The Warriors back-to-back region champs, hopes alive, and they are on the hottest streak of their season, looking to close out with another W. Third down in the first, Raiders. Chase Ledger tries to hand it off to David Dickens, but the Warriors stuff him. Next series on second down, Dixon's going to take the hands off, but he loses the fumble. It's on the ground, and Camden Harbin recovered the fumble. Warriors on offense now. Raj Waldrop looks loose left, throws it. Strong Beverly
Best
open,
name
but
in
it's tipped and the
sports.
ball
Best
intercepted
name.
by Carmelo Valley. He gets the interception, but the Warriors beat the Raiders in a nail-biter 16-15 for their back-to-back region titles.
Congrats, Brookwood. Valwood hosting Tift area, another GISA AAA Region 3 game. Pretty much all defense in the second half. Valwood trying for a fake while behind 26-14. That fake is no good. Fourth quarter, Valwood trying to get things going. It takes the entire Tift area defense to bring
Push the
them
pile,
still
push the
going,
pile.
but not out without getting the first down. Second touchdown of the game. Here is Dylan Grant Harbord of Tift area to cap off the Panthers win over Valwood. Final score 32-14. Valiants, they fall. Hey, cheerleaders, you guys know what to do.
You're watching Friday Night Overtime on ABC 27.
For everything. A good first block. I'm curious
Yeah.
where we are in time, but felt good.
Girl.
Why do you think?
Why
do
are
you,
we in TV?
Yeah,
I
why are we
know.
doing this?
Addition and subtraction.
I
Life
wasn't
is
even
hard.
good at that game operation growing up.
That's why we have calculators. Oh yeah, you can see that chair. Move that chair.
Oh yeah, this chair. Okay.
You're good right there.
Well, it's on a cord. All right. What happened? All right, there we go.
Like good on time? Like, are we heavy, light?
It's probably right around where you are. You were pretty
And
timed.
that's not including the pad at the end, correct? If we're over 2? The pad that I have. So we're really like 40 light, I think. I have no idea. I need you to figure this out. What'd she say, 540? That's a 345, 415. Welcome back to Friday Night Overtime. We normally have Band of the Week here, but Mother Nature, really not cooperating tonight. It was raining, it was cold. Rickards Raiders, we were going to highlight you, but maybe next week.
Yeah, I think so. I can't really blame them myself. I was drenched when we got back to the station.
My pants are still wet.
Yeah, me too. So let's jump back across the state line in a big game for Thomas County Central. Region placement on the line for the Jackets.
Central at Dougherty, a win, and they are the 3 seed in 4A Region 1 standings. 4th down for Central here on the Wildcat. Tyler Floyd taking the snap, goes to the outside, works the edge, and it's enough for a first down. That play sets up this. Sam Brown handing it off to Floyd. He cuts up the middle and flies into the end zone. The Jackets are on the board first. 2-point conversion is good. They would lead Dougherty 8-0, but Dougherty comes back in the second half. Dougherty pulls off the win, 23-15 the final.
In Dawson, Terrel County Green Wave sought to extend their current win streak as they played host to Seminole County. Open second quarter, Indians on the attack. Jaheim Jackson finding a little room, and he'll find a first down before being sworn, but that drive would stall. Late second, now still scoreless. Indians punting. That becomes trouble because Devontae James fields it, and he has a lot of room to work. Go to the sideline. He'll run into a pack here. We kind of lose him, but when he emerges, he's in the end zone. That's a touchdown. Terrell County grabs the early 7-0 lead. Fourth quarter, more Green Wave. James barrels his way across the goal line, and Terrell County wins 14-13.
Florida High, they are in the playoffs in Class 3A. They're predicted as a 3 seed in Region 1. Seminoles hosting Suwannee tonight. The Bulldogs are currently on the outside looking in. As always, Seminoles playing for Cam Brown. 4 years yesterday he's been gone, making Super Cam proud tonight. Of 16-0 in the second quarter, Trey Donaldson, he's committed to play football and basketball at Auburn, dropping the snap, scrambling, making something out of nothing. And hello!
He might be running track now,
Florida
too.
High gets the first down. Nothing coming of it, but that was pretty. Making some pretty plays on defense, too. Ryan Knight coming up with the sack.
Gobbled.
Bulldogs forced to punt, so Florida High going back on offense. P.J. Davis makes the tackle here, and this one stays 16-zip at the half. Florida High adds a few more in the final 2 quarters. 35-6, the final score.
North Florida Christian is in, and FAMU DRS is not. They two squaring off inside Bragg in their final game of the regular season. Eagles score first. Ashton Gaynor on the keeper, but Hollis Sam's all over him, making the stop. Same drive, moving the ball here. Micah McCorvey fighting for yardage. Yardage gets the Eagles inside the 10 right here after a few moves. Then Gaynor finishes the job. He's going to find a gap easy to get himself in. Eagles cruise tonight 40-0 over DRS. You talk about a must-win game, and for Childs tonight against Mccullough was a must-win game. They're currently 10th in 6A standings for Region 1. They need some other things to happen, but they had to win to have a shot. Mccullough, on the other hand, they're in no matter what. They're district champions, so 6 minutes left in third quarter. Hayden Cleese handoff to Zamarian Smith, and he takes off like a rocket, making it look easy. No sign of slowing down. The extra point was good, 28-7 Eagles. Next drive for the Eagles, just as good. Xavier Blake rushes through the defense, and he's going to put some more points up for his offense. What a night for the War Eagles. They'll win big, 42-7 over the Timberwolves.
So Leon High School is out. St. John Paul II, they are in Class 2A. The Panthers just looking to boost their resume a little bit tonight. Early in this one, Lions receiving the kickoff, but they cough it up, and the Panthers take over right near their end zone, and they're going to take advantage of that. Tremaine Hughes Jr. dropping back, decides to keep it himself. He runs around the defense and runs it into the end zone for 6 points. Panthers going for 2. Hughes Jr. hands it to Leon Washington, and they convert on that attempt. St. John Paul II, they come out on top. Big win over Leon, 21-8.
Lincoln Trojans here in 6A going on right now, hosting Mike Norvell in attendance on this one, hosting Trinity Christian under the Thursday night lights. First quarter, Lincoln trying to get on the board first. Perry Fisher to Christian Ducatoro. There it is. Got it now. They settle for a field goal. It's 3-0 in the end, but Trojans defense relentless. The Conquerors deep in their own territory, not going anywhere. The Trojans picking up 6. Fisher pulling away, in Lincoln, they're going to be the big winners Thursday, 19-6.
Javon Petway, what a touchdown catch there. The second-ranked Florida State soccer team in the ACC tournament semifinals, taking on Wake Forest tonight, and this one won in overtime. And how about the freshman coming in clutch? Maria Alagoa, the golden goal in OT. Seminoles, they win 2-1 to advance to the ACC tournament title game. They will face number 1 Virginia Sunday at 1 o'clock. So if you're following along, South Georgia, Big Bend, done with high school football. Some of the teams we talked about tonight, not going to see anymore for the rest of the year. Some of them we're going to be hoping to talk about for a long time, Dom.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is there's teams that lost, but there's also going to be a ton of teams from our area that we're going to get to highlight right back here next Friday night, AP.
Absolutely. So for Florida teams, the brackets come out on Sunday. So some of these teams on the cusp, we talked about Rickards being on the cusp there. They'll have to see if they make it into the postseason on Sunday night. So a lot more to talk about over the next week. We have you covered as the playoffs begin in South Georgia and here in the Big Bend next Friday night. See ya.